Hello there, welcome back to another FFS Livestream. We've got the details on screen for you, as usual. If you want to get in touch with us, we're a community spirit programme trying to bring together performers and people from the industry all across Edinburgh to like each other a bit more and to just hang out and chat about things. You can get in touch with us any way you like, and do like and subscribe the video. Joining me is Richard Vranch.
Hello.
Delighted to see you, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
So, in terms of Edinburgh experience, you're pretty green. You've not been here all that much.
Oh, if only. I first did the Fringe in 1979. 79. So next year it'll be 40 years. Though I've not done every year. I've missed 80 and 83, and I think one or two other years. But apart from those, I've done a full run of shows. I don't count it just coming up and doing a guest slot and going away again. I think I've done proper runs. Right. And of course, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And getting into the run, and by the time you get to week 2 and 3, that's when the stamina starts to lag.
So you're saying after 40 years, it's not getting easier?
It doesn't get any easier.
Right.
But
okay.
It's got harder. The intensity, the concentration, the pressure, the competition has all got much more serious over those years, and it's harder than it ever was, I think, to do the Fringe.
Can you remember what it was like when you first came?
Yeah, it was. I was an undergraduate, come up with a university group, and it was much more university centred in those days, especially the comedy. There was no stand-up comedy at all until about 82 or something. And it was people that had a university platform, like Durham Review or Oxford or Cambridge or Bristol or University of East Anglia. And because during term time they had their tri-act nights and their sketch shows, they were ready to bring to Edinburgh and were quite good. And it was only from 1979, when the Comedy Store opened and other comedy clubs started opening up in pubs, that other people literally had a platform to try out and see if they were good. And then they started to come into Edinburgh as well. And then a lot of the street performers who have always been a big part of the Fringe, and also in London, in Covent Garden, they started to bring shows indoors and be part of the community. Then the improv wave came along, and there are more and more layers.
Yeah, a lot of those comedy clubs have closed recently. There's a lot more focus on sort of television and internet. How do you think that's affected the festival as a feel?
Well, in two ways. People that say live entertainment is waning, well, just look at all these people come to see shows. There are lots of rooms here for lots of shows, and there are bums on seats. So people are interested, and in the festival environment, this is really healthy for the industry. Now, regional comedy clubs and so on are now competing with Netflix and video games, so you could argue that technology is making people stay away. But comedy is something best enjoyed in a group, because when that joke happens and the whole room does that convulsion of laughter, being in the room is not the same as watching it on television, and it does bring people together, and there's something very therapeutic for the audience as well as the performers when an entertainment is working.
Yeah.
And that group experience, it's like sport. Being in the crowd when the goal is scored is better than watching a little screen with someone, and especially now screens are very little.
Yes.
But technology is also helping, because what I mentioned before about platforms for trying things out. It used to be university centric, now anyone can do it. Well, anyone can now make a little video or film of themselves on their phone and post it online. So in a sense, everyone's got a showcase now. Yeah. So you could argue it's helping.
And a lot of those people are in Edinburgh doing hour-long shows now that have built the following. Yeah. In the same way in the music industry, people like Ed Sheeran have built a following through the internet platforms, still doing live shows.
Indeed.
He's not doing a free show.
well, these people, the so-called YouTubers, these people who've created their brand on the screen are now selling out big theatres.
Yeah, they're doing kind of year-round on YouTube, and then actually, we're joined by another guest. We'll have him on again. He was good. How do you feel people are supported here? Do you have much experience with how the Fringe supports acts?
The big venues here, the one we're in, and the Assembly and the Gilded Balloon, Pleasance and Underbelly the last 20 years, I believe the people that run those venues do care. They've got acts in their rooms, and the boss of the venue knows the acts personally, and people want it to go well. There is a support, and also support each other. They'll come along with their passes and sit in each other's shows and boost up the audience in the early days when nobody's coming. So I think there is a lot of genuine support. And ultimately, we're all here trying to do the same thing, which is be successful and popular and meet other people doing like-minded people. So that support is there. But of course, professionally, there is a background of vicious competition because everyone wants the best review, everyone wants to be the one that gets signed up for radio or TV, whatever it is. And if things aren't going well for you, it can be depressing. And I'm sure people get, by week 3, you kind of know if your show hasn't blossomed by the week 3 of the festival, it's probably not going to change in that last week, unless you get some magic review or something. But word of mouth, I think, still counts for more than reviews. And then there are people that can go back to wherever they live and feel very poor and very deflated. But showbiz is like that, unfortunately. People get lucky. You've got to have talent to back it up. Other people, I've seen shows here with people in who I just think, God, I wish I had a tenth of your talent. And they're not getting people.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, I wish I could do something just to make them feel better about it. But it's weird. A lot of people explore their feelings in the shows and it's therapeutic. Now I do a lot of improv comedy and I'm so lucky to do that because there's a team of us, so it's not like we're a stand-up doing a show to 3 people and then having to walk back and fly. That's, when you're on your own, we're a bunch. And on stage we support each other because that's the nature of our show. Someone says something and you listen and reply. So we've actually got support even while we're on stage. We look after each other, and on stage we go out together. So we come with a kind of Reddy Belt family almost. And so working in groups definitely is easier than working on your own.
And we're also trying to promote the idea that you're in it with the venue staff as well.
Yes,
maybe not the owners of the venues, but you've definitely got your tech people and your flyers.
Absolutely. Those. Yeah, and you see it all the time. People flyering each other, and they swap a flyer and have a chat. It is a big network.
Yeah,
and it's face to face. It has to be. Though you could argue that flyers are a bit wasteful, and the amount of paper that you find on the pavement just after you've given it out. If only there was some way of making that a bit more high tech, that would be nice. But it does give people personal contact, and that's obviously a good thing. The pressure here is so intense because it's 24 hours. The bars are open late, and it's great to catch up with people that you don't see the rest of the year. But it's a long. 3 weeks is a long slog to do this. Yeah,
we've been saying this all week that it's great to have a good time up here while you still remember that there is a job to be done at 2:30 in a room that you have to fill at some point.
Yeah.
What advice would you give somebody who's maybe not been to Edinburgh before and kind of doesn't really know what to expect?
That's difficult because it's such a big event now. It's difficult to. Okay, my advice would be word of mouth. Speak to people, say hi to people. What have you seen personally? You can't really get a true picture of something from reading about it. You have to ask people what it was like being there. Right. So go on personal recommendation. I would go. Rather than looking at how many stars things have got, which I was in a bit of a silly system really.
Yes.
Like a mark out of 5. You've worked on something for a year, and then you get like a primary school assessment system with mark out of 5. It seems a bit harsh,
Yes, and I think that doesn't really help the professional jealousy as well in regards of it was a 4 but it read like a 2 or it read like a 5.
Stars, when I first came in 79, things were not starred. That came in later, I'm not quite sure when. I guess it's a shorthand, but the thing is, this is the trouble. It's like a drug. If things are going badly, it's bad. But if all that's going well for you, it's a great feeling. And so it's a huge gamble. We're not endorsing drugs when we say that. No. It's just a metaphor. Well, I'm saying the danger of this is as bad. Yeah. Right. Well, thank you so much for popping in and saying hello. Thank you. I hope that wasn't just garbled nonsense. Well, we'll be the judge. We'll find out in the comments, no doubt. Well.